Discussion of fentanyl continues as the drug fuels an overdose crisis in Oregon. And given a major increase in accidental overdose deaths, more conversations are happening about prevention. One option could be fentanyl testing strips. Fox 12's Audrey Wheel joins us live in studio. She's learning more about this for us and how reliable these test strips really are, and also how these test strips would be used.
Exactly, Bonnie. And first of all, just to be really clear here, health officials are adamant that anyone should only be using pills from their doctor or pharmacist. If you get pills anywhere else, you should assume they're fake and contain potentially deadly amounts of fentanyl. But when it comes to harm reduction in that kind of situation, testing strips are a tool, though as we learned today, they are not a perfect tool. With more focus on fentanyl, you may have heard of fentanyl testing strips. They were originally intended for urine drug testing until it was realized, and research showed too, they can be used to test substances before people consume them.
They really stemmed out of the idea that people who are using substances deserve the right to have as much information as possible about what is in their drugs.
Haven Wheelock is the Drug Users Health Services Program Coordinator for Portland nonprofit Outside In. She primarily works with people who inject heroin and meth, but in the past 6 months, she's dealt much more with fentanyl too. She showed me how these test strips work, which is only in liquid, so any pill has to be crushed.
This is just water in a syringe.
And mixed with water.
Put the wavy lines in the water.
The strip will show 1 line if it detects fentanyl and 2 if it doesn't, but this is by no means foolproof.
A negative test does not mean that this is a safe substance to take. Fentanyl test strips are not a perfect tool, right? And just because the test strip says it doesn't have fentanyl in it, it may just be the bit that you are testing doesn't have fentanyl in it, but other parts of that same pill could, as well as other pills in the same batch could.
Wheelock says we don't know if the strips work on all types of fentanyl, and opioids can still be dangerous even without any fentanyl in them. Plus, overdose risk is much higher for people who don't use drugs regularly because they haven't built up a tolerance. So while there is a benefit to these strips,
knowing what you have to some degree can allow you to change behaviors and do things to make yourself safer.
They should not be relied upon completely. And Wheelock stresses that anyone who chooses to use substances should have Naloxone on hand in case of overdose. Because fentanyl is so potent, it can require more than 1 dose of Naloxone. In Oregon, you can get that at a pharmacy without a prescription. Reporting live in studio, Audrey Wheel, Fox 12 Oregon.